Welcome to Earplay Escape. You can now support me by joining my Patreon account and also gaining access to the full audiobooks. The link is on the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Naruto, the ninja who picks up ultimate powers. Episode 111. On the 7th of next month, Hinata and I will hold an engagement banquet, Natsuki announced with a happy smile. When I get back, I'll send you 2 invitations. Haruno Sakura nodded with a smile on her face. I'll definitely go. Her relationship with Hinata is also very good, so Haruno Sakura will naturally not be absent. Me too. Naruto Uzumaki came back to his senses, and after glancing at Natsuki, he turned to Haruno Sakura with a smile, rubbing his hands. Sakura, let's go together then, okay? At the banquet, you will definitely unexpectedly discover my handsome side, and then like it. Aha. It hurts. Boom. Naruto Uzumaki's words were not finished, and Haruno Sakura's fist had already landed on his head. Haruno Sakura, who looked angry, waved her fist and spoke. Idiot. What do you want to do at the important engagement banquet of brother friend and Hinata? Dumbass idiot. Looking at the playful interaction between the two, Natsuki smiled and didn't say much. Turning his gaze to Sajui, who had not spoken since he said it once, Natsuki spoke. Sai, when the time comes, I will also send you an invitation. Please come by all. Natsuki's sudden conversation made Sajui stunned for a moment. Looking at Natsuki's friendly eyes, after pondering for a while, Sajui nodded. I'll go. In fact, he was observing all the way. Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura have a good relationship, as well as with Natsuki, and the smiles on their faces are very sincere, and they have a completely different feeling from his fake smile. This feeling, Sajui is very incomprehensible, very puzzled. After all, at this stage, he is a tool person without feelings. Incomprehension is normal, but Sajui also began to think about how to get that kind of sincere smile. It was precisely because he found that Sajui was observing and wondering, so Natsuki opened his mouth to invite Sai. People who want to save themselves, he doesn't mind pulling Sajui out of the darkness and becoming a good subordinate. No matter what, in a few years, Natsuki will also succeed Hokage, and Sai's good subordinates are naturally the more the merrier. As for whether Sai can complete this transformation from the inside out, no problem. I have Naruto Uzumaki, delicious sentient beings. Even the big boss Uchiha Obito, in the mouth of Naruto Uzumaki, let him feel life on the spot. The 3 views exploded, and he turned into one of the most determined saviors of the ninja world. Is it strong? It's so strong that it explodes. If it weren't for Uchiha being taken out of the heart by the black corner, maybe he would have fallen under Naruto Uzumaki's mouth. Therefore, under Naruto Uzumaki's strength and emotional contagion, it was easy to save Asawi. Glancing at Sajui, who was lost in thought, Natsuki smiled. Presumably soon, he will. High tea loyal horseboy 1. A day later. The country of grass, far from the mission site Heaven and Earth Bridge, in the forest extremely far away. In a long distance, Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno, as well as the 3 of Sai, holding a telescope in their hands, looked at the bridge of Heaven and Earth in the distance. Swish! A breaking wind sounded, and Natsuki's figure appeared beside the 3. We'll just wait here. As soon as he came over, he casually leaned on a big tree. Xiaomu's eyes flashed with essence, looked at the extremely distant Heaven and Earth Bridge, and spoke. I have gone to confirm the situation of the mission location, now it only takes the appearance of the enemy. Next to Natsuki, Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and the silent Sajui were also observing the movement of the Tenchi Bridge. Friend, is it okay to be here? Naruto Uzumaki raised the telescope in his hand, looked in the direction of the distant Heaven and Earth Bridge, and spoke. This distance, isn't it too far? Naruto Uzumaki always felt that this place was not too far away. You need a telescope. Shaking his head, Xiaomu didn't care about this little distance. No problem, trust me. Haruno Sakura glanced at Naruto Uzumaki speechlessly, and spoke. Naruto, have you forgotten? Senior brother friend can fly the thunder god art, this little distance, it is not a big deal. Hearing Haruno Sakura's words, Naruto Uzumaki had doubts on his face. Is that so? Shaking his head, Haruno Sakura glanced at Naruto Uzumaki speechlessly. This guy is worthy of being a ninjutsu idiot. Natsuki didn't care, didn't speak, just leaned on the tree, put his right hand on the grass pheasant sword, and tapped his fingers rhythmically. It seemed to be idle, but it exuded a trace of oppressive force, so that Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno subconsciously stopped communicating and stopped talking. Time passes little by little. About half an hour later, 2 familiar chakras appeared in Natsuki's perception. Here it is. A smile appeared on Xiaomu's face, and he spoke. Both people are here, Medicine Master Pocket and Big Snake Pill, a total of 2 chakras. Act as planned, Sai. Hearing Natsuki's words, Sajui nodded with a serious face, took out his scroll, and finished painting in a blink of an eye. Ninja FA Super Beast, pseudo painting. Boom. An ink-painted bird appeared, and Sajui's figure moved, jumped directly onto the bird's back, and flew into the air. Natsuki glanced at Sai's figure flying into the air, and then withdrew his gaze. Get ready. Sakura, Naruto. Between speaking, Natsuki looked at the other side of the Heaven and Earth Bridge like this. In the distance, I have seen a figure with a tightly hidden body appear on the other side of the Heaven and Earth Bridge. After the other party reached the bridge, Natsuki raised his hand and put it on the shoulders of Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno. Let's go. Natsuki spoke, and the chakra on his body flowed. Flying thunder god. Swish. A sound of breaking wind sounded, and the figures of Xiaomu's three disappeared directly. On the heaven and earth bridge, the medicine master pocket in the cloak had a hint of doubt on his face. Didn't you come? Or did you give up on me? With a murderous color in his tone, the medicine master spoke. It let him escape. At this time, boom! A cloud of white smoke suddenly exploded in front of the medicine master's pocket. Swish! The figure of the medicine master quickly retreated a little distance, took out a kunai, and looked at the white smoke with a serious face. Who is it? Call. The wind blows, and the white smoke disperses. Seeing the appearance of the person coming clearly, the medicine master's pupils shrank, and his eyes showed various colors such as fear, resentment, hatred, etc. But this was only for a moment, and soon became calm again. All emotions are hidden deep under the eyes. The medicine master looked at the three people who appeared Xiaomu, and his gaze fell directly on Xiaomu's body. It turned out to be you. Natsuki Yurenkuen. Long time no see. Looking at the medicine master pocket hidden in the cloak, Natsuki suddenly smiled. Medicine master, why don't you show your true face? Episode 112. Humph. The medicine master had a somewhat hideous face, smiled coldly, and then took off his cloak, revealing that face. A scar, from his forehead, spread directly under his cheek. Let the medicine master's originally quite beautiful face look very terrifying, like a split-headed ghost. His face. Seeing the face of the medicine master, Haruno Sakura was startled, and subconsciously spoke. It's terrible. Hearing Haruno Sakura's words, a sneer appeared on the medicine master's face. Scary? This scar was all given by your Natsuki friend. If it weren't for my life, I'm afraid it wouldn't be as simple as this face being destroyed. Haruno Sakura glanced at Natsuki with some surprise, but didn't think it was a big deal. After all, the other party is an enemy. However, hearing that Yukushi seemed to want to smear Natsuki, Naruto Uzumaki said coldly, "That's because you want to kill Tsunade's mother-in-law. That's why friends will kill you." Shaking his head, Natsuki stepped forward and spoke. The medicine man. Also, the big snake pill over there, don't you come out and talk? The smell of snakes on your body, I smelled it 108,000 miles away. Get out of here. Swish. Xiaomu's voice fell, and the figure of the big snake pill instantly appeared next to the medicine master, who had retreated several meters. The big snake pill glanced at the medicine master's pocket, sneered, and spoke. Woo, are you afraid? The medicine master's pocket, who faintly saw sweat on his forehead, heard the words of the big snake pill, and respectfully spoke. I'm so sorry, Orochimaru-sama. In the past 3 years, I have been shrouded in the nightmare of that knife back then. Hearing Natsuki's words, Orochimaru looked at Natsuki, who was standing casually. I know. I can understand, after all, that battle, not only you, even me, will recall the amazing friend Jun from time to time. I found that you, friend Kuen, seem to be a better container than Sasuke. While speaking, the body of the big snake pill slowly exuded shadow-level coercion. To be able to see my friend again, It's quite fun. Click. Holding the hilt of the grass pheasant sword in his right hand, Natsuki looked at the big snake pill, his face calm with deep disgust. I'm not happy at all after being remembered by you for so long. Orochimaru still sneered, but did not speak. The atmosphere instantly froze, and a cold wind blew through. A fallen leaf, blown by the wind, a moment between the two sides. Hiss. Suddenly, there was a snake roar, and immediately after, 3 poisonous snakes opened their mouths and tore towards the 3 of Natsuki from the sleeves of the big snake pill. Latent snake limbs. The big snake pill drank coldly, and the chakra on his body surged up. Duh. Facing the poisonous snake that arrived in front of him in an instant, Xiaomu's right thumb flicked lightly, and the grass pheasant sword instantly emitted a cold light. Ching. The moment the grass pheasant sword came out of its sheath, a sword light danced into an arc, leaving a Dao afterimage in the air, and in an instant, it was killed in front of the 2 of the big snake pill and the medicine master. The eyes were cold, and on the grass pheasant sword in Xiaomu's hand, a strong wind chakra fluctuation burst out. 1 knife flow, wind escape, 2 swords. Zheng. The moment the knife groan sounded and fell, 2 terrifying winds and sword chi directly killed the 2 of the big snake pill and the medicine master. Thundered. The wooden cement on the bridge deck was directly shattered, also on the cliff wall, leaving 2 terrifying knife edges. Yikes. At the moment when Xiaomu took out the knife, the big snake pill and the medicine master pocket, who had already had a psychological shadow of Xiaomu's knife technique, directly retreated. Dao cultivation is even more terrifying than 3 years ago. While the medicine master retreated, his eyes were solemn and fearful, and he said extremely nervously, Lord Orochimaru, what are we going to do? Hearing the medicine master's words, the big snake pill, who was about to say something, suddenly raised his head. Swish. Haruno Sakura's eyes were filled with endless anger, and her gaze stared directly at the big snake pill. Orochimaru. Where is Sasuke-kun? Natsuki also forget it, after all, although he is young, he is really strong. But Haruno Sakura, or Naruto Uzumaki, in the eyes of the big snake pill, they are all small insects that are not worth mentioning. and at this moment they dare to make a move against him. In the eyes of the big snake pill, Haruno Sakura is looking for death. Huh. With a cold smile, Orochimaru watched Haruno Sakura fall rapidly, and spoke, "Find death." At the same time as the words fell, the big snake pill casually raised his hand, and his sleeve stirred. Hidden shadow multi-snake hand. Nay. One by one, the poisonous snakes opened their mouths and tore directly towards Haruno Sakura, very quickly. In the next instant, Haruno Sakura's figure was directly bitten by a poisonous snake. Boom. The moment she was hit by the attack, Haruno Sakura's figure directly turned into a cloud of white smoke. Shadow doppelganger? The big snake pill was stunned for a moment, and then turned his head to look at the side of the medicine master's pocket. The two of Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno have already killed in front of Yakushi and have already fought each other. So, at this moment, in front of the big snake pill, a kunai took his face. Kuwu? Stunned for a moment, the body of the big snake pill instinctively dodged this kunai, and just made a move. His face suddenly changed drastically. Oops. Swish. Flying thunder god. Xiaomu was bathed in Lei Dun chakra, and directly appeared in front of the big snake pill, raised his leg and swept directly, kicking the heart of the big snake pill. Monster force thunder gongli whirlwind. Boom. Boom. This kick hit his heart directly at the moment when the big snake pill didn't have time to react, and the ultimate strength coupled with the terrifying attack speed of kicking out a thunderous sonic boom sound brought about the power was very terrifying. Thundered. In an instant, the figure of the big snake pill was like a cannonball, and after smashing one huge tree after another, I don't know how far it flew out. This dense forest was directly knocked out of a ravine, which shows the horror of this foot. Sting. The thunder chakra on his body exploded, and Xiaomu's first full strength burst out with the terrifying speed of the thunder instantaneous technique. I saw that there were one after another after images left in the air, and Xiaomu's figure had already caught up with the big snake pill that had just been kicked and flew and had not yet landed in the air. Ninpo Daitama spiral pill. Natsuki spoke coldly. With a gentle grasp of his hand, a large, jade spiral pill the size of a basketball appeared directly in Xiaomu's hand. Let's take it. With a cold glance at the big snake pill, the big jade spiral pill in Xiaomu's hand directly pressed down towards the body of the big snake pill. Ha! Boom! Boom boom. In an instant, the body of the big snake pill that was still in the air directly withstood Xiaomu's attack head-on, and directly landed on the ground, and the entire forest ground suddenly erupted into a strong tremor. Immediately afterwards, huge trees were blown away, and a huge deep pit with a diameter of more than 20 meters and a depth of 78 meters appeared on the ground. Swish! Next to the pit, Xiaomu's figure fell to the ground, and turned to look at the body of the big snake pill in the center of the pit. G. Molted. Episode 113. Next to the huge deep pit that came out by the big jade spiral pill with a blow, Xiaomu glanced at the snake skin that the big snake pill had faded, and his expression was slightly disgusted. You guy, it's really no different from a snake. The words fell, and on the other side of the deep pit, the figure of the big snake pill came out of the dirt. There is no disgusting and pleasing power in power, friend Kuan. The big snake pill who used the great snake flow avatar technique, seemingly unharmed, spoke. Isn't the flying thunder god technique that friend June knows also disgusting in a sense? Indeed, the unexpected flying thunder god technique, in the eyes of the opponent, is indeed quite disgusting, because the speed is fast and it is impossible to prevent. Sting. The grass pheasant sword in his hand, circulating the terrifying thunder chakra, Natsuki looked at the big snake pill. Then let's start the second round. Although your ninjutsu is indeed very powerful, how many times can you use it? A few more heavy blows, and your life will be slaughtered by me. Hearing Xiaomu's words, the sneer on the face of the big snake pill remained unchanged, but the pair of snake pupils became more and more gloomy. Is it? You can come and give it a try. Poof. When the words fell, the big snake pill's head tilted sharply, and on the grass pheasant sword in Xiaomu's hand, the irascible Lei Dun chakra condensed, directly rubbed his ears and cut off. Poof. With a soft sound, after the grass pheasant sword cut through the body of the big snake pill directly turned into a puddle of mud. Earth substitute technique? In Xiaomu's eyes, a fine light flashed, and he spoke. At this moment, a huge shadow directly enveloped Natsuki completely. The moment he raised his head, Xiaomu saw two huge snakes, raised their huge snake tails, and smashed them down sharply. If they were hit, I am afraid that they would be hit hard. One knife flow, wind escape, 4 cuts. With a fixed gaze, Xiaomu's face showed a serious color, and the thunder chakra on the grass pheasant sword in his hand was instantly transformed. Zhing. At the same time as the knife groan sounded, for terrifying wind and knife chi directly burst out, 2 of which cut off the tails of these 2 huge snakes, and the remaining 2 sword chi directly cut through the 7 inches of the big snake. The snake tail and snake head flew into the air together. That's awesome. The big snake pill on the side looked at Natsuki with greedy colors in his eyes. It's a better container than Sasuke, it's just a pity. His eyes froze, the chakra riot on his body, and the big snake pill looked directly at Natsuki who looked at him. 10,000 serpent luo array. At the same time as the words fell, the big snake pill suddenly opened his mouth and spit out countless poisonous snakes. The overwhelming poisonous snakes were like a wave, directly towards Xiaomu, with a strong snake smell, which made people quite unbearable this trick. Xiaomu's face was stunned, and his hands were instantly sealed. Shadow doppelganger art. Boom. The same figure appeared beside Natsuki, raised his hands, and directly sealed the seal, and at the same time, Natsuki's body was also sealed. Done in a flash. Fire Dragon Fire Art. Wind Escape Big Breakthrough. Drum out an extremely terrifying substantial chakra. Natsuki and his shadow avatar used two ninjutsu at the same time, instantly intertwined in the air. The originally extremely terrifying Dragon Fire Art, the attack range and power increased geometrically. In the blink of an eye, it directly shrouded the 10,000 snake Luo array in the middle, and the sea of fire-like dragon fire technique directly devoured the 10,000 snake Luo array. After all the poisonous snakes were burned, this sea of fire directly bombarded the big snake pill. Oops, the big snake pill's face changed, and his hands instantly froze. Psychic Ichiji Rashomon. Syllable. His hands pressed the ground, and in front of the big snake pill, a strange copper wall instantly appeared, with a relief like a ghost Hades, as if he was mocking Natsuki. Bang! The dragon fire art slammed on Rashomon, and although it was powerful, it was unable to break through Rashomon's defenses. Blocked. With a sneer on his face, Orochimaru spoke. At this time, airplanes. An extremely harsh voice sounded, and at the same time, there was a strong chakra fluctuation, which reached the perception of the big snake pill. This voice, this chakra. Feeling this huge chakra wave movement, the smile on the face of the big snake pill instantly couldn't hold back, and then he saw. Click. Above Rashomon, there was a clicking cracking sound, and then a 5 or 6 meter huge shuriken-like technique formed entirely by chakra flew directly towards him. Ninpo Super Jade Spiral Shuriken. Xiaomu's icy voice came, and the pupils of the big snake pill widened, looking at the super large Jade Spiral Shuriken directly killed. Boom! Thundered. In an instant, the entire area was as if a nuclear explosion had occurred, and the terrifying wind escaped chakra, directly devouring everything. Dirt, stones, trees. All of them were cut into powder by the wind chakra like nanoscale pocket knives, and even the dust did not rise. For a long time, wait for the aftermath of all the attacks to pass. Xiaomu's figure instantly came to this incomparable pit. A little fragment of snakeskin remained. Escaped. With a smile on his face, Natsuki opened Kagura's hard eyes, felt it a little, and instantly felt the big snake pill that was far away. Run away. With a smile, Natsuki spoke. Only in this way can you lead the way. In this mission, Natsuki still planned to take Naruto Uzumaki to meet Sasuke Uchiha. After all, this guy has been chasing Sasuke Uchiha for so long. And Natsuki also wants to be sure, what is the current situation of Uchiha Sasuke? As for bringing back Uchiha Sasuke, this one depends on the situation. If necessary, bring it back. If it is not necessary, let Uchiha Sasuke continue to wander in the ninja world. Let him go to Uchiha Itachi. And this is also Uchiha Sasuke's chance. Eternal Kaleidoscope Riding Wheel Eye. With the eternal kaleidoscope of Sasuke Uchiha, the strength is still okay. In fact, if Uchiha Sasuke did not bring it back, the impact on Natsuki was minimal, and he did not care. As for taking Naruto Uzumaki to see Sasuke Uchiha, it's just because Naruto Uzumaki, this persistent guy, call him a best friend, after all. In Xiaomu's heart, he also attaches great importance to friendship. After glancing in the direction Orochimaru left, Natsuki turned around and headed towards the battle on the other side. At this time, roar. A sound like the roar of a beast sounded. Immediately afterwards, a violent ominous chakra directly erupted. Sulphone. A strong wind generated by the impact of chakra blew, making Xiaomu's face change. This can still inspire the chakra of the nine tails? It's amazing. Swish. The moment the thoughts in his heart rose and fell, Xiaomu had already launched the Flying Thunder God technique, and his figure disappeared instantly. Appearing again, Natsuki's figure appeared in front of Naruto Uzumaki, who had erupted with 4 tails. Boom. Thundered. Episode 114. Thundered. The ground shattered and collapsed, instantly setting off a fierce hurricane. At the moment, the center of the hurricane, the body was protected by the powerful thunder chakra, as if he was covered with a layer of thunder armor. Xiaomu's defense at this moment was indestructible, so he directly resisted Naruto Uzumaki's 4 chakra tails with both hands, making it impossible to inch. Boom. A terrifying huge force directly suppressed Naruto Uzumaki's body, suppressing all his actions at the moment. What a hassle. Natsuki glanced at Naruto Uzumaki, who was calmed, and was quite helpless. Feeling the change on this side just now, Natsuki, who directly used the Flying Thunder God technique, was attacked by Naruto Uzumaki, who had lost consciousness the moment he appeared. It's just that in the face of Natsuki, whose strength is not in a dimension at all, Naruto Uzumaki's attack has no effect at all. Or rather, this was not Naruto Uzumaki's attack at all. Now the one who controls Naruto Uzumaki's body should be the Nine Tails. After suppressing Naruto Uzumaki, who was being manipulated at the moment, Natsuki's gaze looked around. The medicine pocket was gone, not feeling his chakra, and Haruno Sakura was lying not far away at the moment, unconscious while blood was gurgling from her shoulder. So it is. Seeing Haruno Sakura's injured appearance, Natsuki understood in his heart why Naruto Uzumaki was instantly devoured by the nine-tailed chakra. Turning his head to glance at Naruto Uzumaki, who was constantly struggling, Natsuki couldn't help but sigh. Idiot? At the same time as the words fell, a terrifying chakra erupted on Natsuki's body. It was directly suppressed on Naruto Uzumaki's body, and the nine-tailed chakra that wrapped his whole body instantly converged like spring snow. The suppression is not over at all. Not enough. As soon as his eyes closed, Xiaomu's eyes emitted an ice blue light. Reincarnation eye. Airplanes. With a huge pupil force, Natsuki's consciousness instantly entered Uzumaki Naruto's body, and directly came to the space that sealed the 9 tails in his body. In the dim sewage-like space inside Naruto Uzumaki's body, Natsuki glanced here. Seal space? As he spoke, Natsuki raised his eyes and saw Naruto Uzumaki's conscious body completely wrapped in the 9-tailed chakra at this moment. Click click. Walking directly over, Natsuki raised his hand and grabbed the 9-tailed chakra that wrapped Naruto Uzumaki's consciousness. Boom. With just a light grab, this chakra was cuffed. After solving the 9-tailed chakra of Naruto Uzumaki's consciousness body, Natsuki's eyes fell through the sealed gate into the dim space behind the gate, staring at his beast pupils deadly. 9 tails. With a flat glance at the 9 tails, Natsuki spoke. Can't you be quiet? Bang. The figure of the 9 tails lowered and stared at Natsuki possessedly. Your body. I feel the smell of the old man with the 6 courses. Who are you? Airplanes. The pupil power of the reincarnated eye burst out in his eyes, and Natsuki glanced at the 9 tails like this. Roar. In an instant, the 9 tails screamed in horror, and his figure quickly retreated, and his red fur exploded, staring at Natsuki deadly. Xiaomu's glance, the feeling he gave him, extremely terrifying. Compared to when he faced the eternal kaleidoscope Sharingan Uchiha spot, it was much more terrifying. That's the pupil power that can easily destroy it. Gone? After the 9 tails came back to his senses, Natsuki's consciousness had already left the sealed space. What kind of eyes are those eyes? Definitely not a chakra. It is even less likely to be a kaleidoscope or the eye of reincarnation. But that terrifying pupil power, and the reincarnation eye of the 6 immortals in the memory of the 9 tails, is a level existence, but the degree of danger is even greater. Being stared at by those eyes, the 9 tails felt like he would be suppressed and completely killed in the next moment. Although he was the most powerful of the 9-tailed beasts, but in fact, the combat effectiveness of the 9 tails itself is really not good. After all, he just has a huge chakra, which is like a chakra perpetual motion machine. Large volume, not strong combat effectiveness. Think about it, being able to provide the entire Ninja World Alliance with a half 9-tailed chakra for protection. At the same time, Naruto Uzumaki himself also turned on the 9 llamas mode, and the tailed beast turned into a high-intensity and high-consumption battle. It can be seen that the amount of chakra of the 9 tails is really huge to the extreme. There are 2 of the Senju Pillar and Uchiha Madara whose abilities belong to the tank-tail beast, so they can play with the 9 tails as a ball. But that doesn't mean the 9 tails are really useless. It's not that the 9 tails are weak, it's just that the 2 people of Senjukuma and Uchiha are too powerful. The ceiling space was silent for a long time. Absolutely. Absolute. The 9 tails lay down again, and his tone was very solemn. Never get into a fight with this man. Otherwise, it will be beaten very badly. It is not a masochist, of course, it does not want to go to the big guy who is not an opponent at all, who has nothing to do with letting people beat themselves up in society. Is it sick? The outside world. The reincarnation eye in Xiaomu's eyes has returned to its original pupil color. Looking at Naruto Uzumaki, who was lying in front of him, his skin was destroyed by the explosion of 4 tails. Natsuki had a slight helplessness and headache. Standing up, Natsuki came to Haruno Sakura first and checked it a little. Not a big problem. Just being stunned by the attack and then being cut by Kumu looked extremely terrifying. But in fact the situation was much better than Naruto Uzumaki. Palm cactus. The hands were sealed, and Natsuki's hand condensed a bright green chakra, which rested on Haruno Sakura's wound. Soon, the originally terrifying mouth quickly recovered the scar. Although Natsuki's medical ninjutsu is not very good for his other abilities, it is also at the top of the Konoha platoon. Treating Haruno Sakura's injuries is just a matter of hand. Soon, after dealing with Haruno Sakura's blood flow a little, Natsuki once again came to Naruto Uzumaki's side and began to treat this reckless and idiotic protagonist. About 5 minutes later, Haruno Sakura woke up on the side. Standing up, Haruno Sakura raised her eyes and saw Natsuki treating Naruto Uzumaki, seeing your brother friend. Naruto. When he saw Naruto Uzumaki, whose epidermal tissue was destroyed all over his body, Haruno Sakura's face showed a rather nervous color, and quickly came to Naruto Uzumaki's side. What a serious injury. With Haruno Sakura's medical level, he instantly saw that Naruto Uzumaki's injury was serious. Senior brother friend, Naruto this is. What's wrong? Hearing this, Natsuki spoke. The 9-tailed chakra that broke out turned into a small-tailed beast, and after forcing the 9-tailed chakra back, it became like this. Rest assured, it's not a big problem. After hearing Natsuki's words, Haruno Sakura breathed a sigh of relief, hugged her injured arm, sat next to herself, and treated herself. After glancing at Haruno Sakura, Natsuki asked, Sakura, where is Sajui who supports you? Episode 115. Sigh. Hearing Natsuki's question, Haruno Sakura was stunned for a moment, and her face changed slightly. When the battle began, Sajui didn't appear. A trace of essence flashed in his eyes, and Natsuki nodded silently and didn't say anything more. Sai's body is indeed carrying the mission of Danzo. This can be guessed from Tsunade's special reminder of Natsuki. Arranging for Sajui to act alone, Natsuki also had something to consider. Because he left the Flying Thunder God mark on Sajui's body, and also left the Flying Thunder God mark on the body of the Great Snake Pill, under the double insurance, he will definitely be able to find the base of the Great Snake Pill. Then you can find Sasuke Uchiha. 10 minutes later, Natsuki's treatment of Naruto Uzumaki was over. Sakura, are you okay with your injuries? After treating Naruto Uzumaki, Natsuki glanced at Haruno Sakura again. Do you need me to treat you? Hearing Natsuki's words, Haruno Sakura shook her head and said, I'm fine, it's just that I lost a little too much blood. I've taken the blood enhancement pills, and I'll get better soon. Hearing this, Natsuki nodded. That's good, you take care of Naruto. After saying a word, Natsuki sat to the side, waiting for Naruto Uzumaki to wake up and rest for the night. It's good to go. After all, this mission is not over yet, and Natsuki is not sure if he has severely damaged the Great Snake Pill just now, which can ensure that Uchiha Sasuke can kill the Great Snake Pill in that reincarnation ritual. So still have to go once. After hitting Orochimaru hard, he was able to really be safe. Of course, the main reason was that Natsuki wanted Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha to come together once and reunite 3 years later. There is also size reason for this. Otherwise, Natsuki would actually end the mission now, and there would be no problem. Glancing at Haruno Sakura and Naruto Uzumaki, who had not yet woken up, Natsuki raised his hand and made a seal. Kagura Shinkai. Airplanes. Chakra fluctuations. His perception spread out in an instant. Towards the flying thunder god mark that he felt, he probed the past from a distance. The distance was not too far away, so he could clearly feel the situation of Sajui and Orochimaru. After a while, Natsuki opened his eyes. Sure enough, the mission of this guy Sajui is to contact the Big Snake Pill. Sajui did not come to support Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno, and it became normal. After dispersing Kagura's eyes, Natsuki opened his eyes. It's almost time. At the same time as the words fell, Naruto Uzumaki, who was lying under a tree over there, his eyelids trembled, and from his coma, he slowly opened his eyes and woke up. Seeing Naruto Uzumaki wake up, Haruno Sakura's face showed a surprised smile. Naruto, you're awake. There's nothing uncomfortable about your body, right? Confused, Naruto Uzumaki looked at Haruno Sakura. Sakura, are you okay? After regaining his senses, Naruto Uzumaki looked at Haruno Sakura with a worried look in his eyes and asked, Pocket that guy. Shaking her head, Haruno Sakura spoke directly. Don't worry, Naruto, I'm okay. Naruto Uzumaki sat up and nodded reassuringly after seeing that Haruno Sakura was indeed fine. Then Naruto Uzumaki said with some guilt, I'm sorry, Sakura, I didn't protect you before I got you hurt. With a smile on her face, Haruno Sakura opened her mouth to comfort Naruto Uzumaki. Both are worried about each other. On the other side, Natsuki looked at Haruno Sakura and Naruto Uzumaki, and couldn't help but feel some emotion. Anyone could tell that Naruto Uzumaki really liked Sakura to the bone. In fact, if you think about it, Haruno Sakura has many moments of mortality, but it was Naruto Uzumaki who saved her life by gambling her life, and everyone can see this feeling. As for whether the two will have results, this Natsuki is not sure either. He doesn't want to meddle in other people's feelings, he doesn't have so much thoughts, and he doesn't have so much leisure. Although Naruto Uzumaki is his best friend, but people chase a girl, what do you meddle in? At most, give Naruto Uzumaki a little assist at the moment of need. In fact, Natsuki sometimes felt that Haruno Sakura was not without feelings, but only when she discovered her feelings for Naruto Uzumaki. Love can no longer be spoken, because there is no courage and disqualification, that's all. In fact, before Xiaomu knew it, he had already changed something. 3 years ago, Uchiha Sasuke hadn't been read by Uchiha Itachi, so he didn't need Tsunade to save Sasuke, and he didn't let Naruto Uzumaki see the scene of hugging in front of the hospital bed. It was still 3 years ago, when Uchiha Sasuke defected, because Natsuki intervened in this mission. He did not let Naruto Uzumaki and Haruno Sakura make the lifelong agreement to help Haruno Sakura chase her husband home. To say that the current Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno are not at all possible? Not necessarily. It all depends on the creation of the two. Anyway, Natsuki doesn't matter. After all, Naruto Uzumaki's peach blossom luck has always been online. And Natsuki remembered that Jiraiya seemed to have found him a doll to kiss. It seemed to be from some ninja village? That's right. The female ninja of Fuzi village, named Fusijing. Also a nice girl. Not to mention that after becoming the savior of the ninja world, Naruto Uzumaki's female relationship directly exploded. So Naruto Uzumaki's future happy life or something. In fact, Natsuki never worried. These two people. Looking at the two with a lot of thoughts, Natsuki shook his head. It's up to their fate. While speaking, Natsuki came to the side of the two and looked at Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto, there is no problem with the body, right? Nodding, Naruto Uzumaki looked at Natsuki and asked, Friend, what about Pocket and Orochimaru? Natsuki smiled and spoke. I escaped, but I deliberately let them go. Hearing Natsuki's words, Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno both looked at him with a puzzled expression. Why let them go? When Xiaomu heard this, he smiled and said, Easy. Let them lead the way when we find Sasuke. Naruto, Sakura, you should really want to meet Sasuke, right? Hearing Natsuki's words, both Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno were silent. After a long time, Naruto Uzumaki stood up with a smile on his face. Then let's go. Friend, be sure to bring Sasuke back to the village this time. Natsuki glanced at Naruto Uzumaki, and after glancing at Haruno Sakura, who was also looking at him, he shook his head and said, "Nope." Hearing Natsuki's words, Naruto Uzumaki looked anxious. "Why? If it's late, what should I do if they run away again?" Still shaking his head, Xiaomu said with a serious face, "What you two need most right now is rest. Let's go, find a place to rest for the night." While speaking, Natsuki walked to the side. "Even if Naruto, you can hold on, but Sakura can't. She lost too much blood and had to rest." Episode 116. The next day, early in the morning, the sky had just brightened. Whoops, the three figures ran and moved quickly, with Natsuki taking the lead, followed by Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno. "Friend, how far is it?" Naruto Uzumaki asked with an anxious look on his face. After resting for the night, he was now worried that he would lose Orochimaru and Yakushi, and if that was the case, he would lose news of Sasuke Uchiha again, which was not what Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno wanted to see. "Don't worry," Xiaomu said with an indifferent face. "The mark of the Flying Thunder God is already very clear, and it won't be long before it arrives." Hearing Natsuki's words, Naruto Uzumaki nodded and didn't ask any more. Turning his head to glance at Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno, who were slightly silent, Natsuki spoke. "Naruto, Sakura, when you reach your destination, the task of finding Sasuke will be handed over to you too. I'm going to snipe Orochimaru. Tsunade-sensei means that if you have the opportunity, you will kill Orochimaru." When Xiaomu said this, he paused and said, "Whether you can bring back Sasuke or not is up to the two of you. Also, I need to remind you that after 3 years, Sasuke may not be the Sasuke we know anymore." With a solemn look in his eyes, Natsuki spoke. "His heart is likely to have been clouded by darkness, and if you face Sasuke, you too may even be killed by him, so contact is okay, but be careful. Although Sasuke is important, sooner or later he will be able to bring him back, and you too will have to keep yourself safe." Hearing Natsuki's ahu, Haruno Sakura and Naruto Uzumaki both looked at each other and nodded at the same time. "Yes." Nodding, Natsuki spoke. "Speed up, I already feel it." Whoops, the speed of the three people increased again, and they quickly headed towards the distance. Soon, the three of them came to a plain area. Swish, the figures of the three appeared in front of a stone mountain. After taking a look at the terrain here, Natsuki squatted on the ground, pressed his left hand on the ground, and made a mark with his right hand. Kagura Shinkai. Airplanes. With a gentle chakra fluctuation, a sense of perception penetrated the ground on Xiaomu's body, passed through the stone mountain, and entered the underground cave behind it. After a while, Natsuki opened his eyes with a smile on his face. "Here it is." Xiaomu came to Shirshan and said with a clear face, "Although there is an enchantment, but Sai's Flying Thunder God mark is in it, and it also requires the chakra breath of the medicine master, the chakra breath of the great snake pill, and Sasuke's chakra breath." Hearing Natsuki's words, the faces of Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno showed joy. "Friend, what now? How do we get in?" Naruto Uzumaki's face showed an inquiring color, and he looked at Natsuki with a serious expression. Glancing at the surrounding situation, Haruno Sakura spoke. "In this case, sneaking in with dirt is the best choice. Friend and brother, do we need to sneak in with a dirt escape?" Shaking his head, Natsuki spoke. "Sasuke's chakra, I have sensed the specific location. You guys go to Sasuke, I'll go find Orochimaru. No need to dive in, we don't know much about the situation inside. Sakura, it's no problem to smash the ground with your strange fist." Hearing Natsuki's words, both Haruno Sakura and Naruto Uzumaki nodded. "Got it." Glancing at the two, Natsuki raised his hand and looked at Sakura. "Just in case, Sakura, I also left the Flying Thunder God mark on your body. If there is danger, I will rush to the rescue in an instant." Hearing this, Haruno Sakura nodded. "Yes. Friend, senior brother." Between the two of them speaking, Natsuki had already left a Flying Thunder God mark on Haruno Sakura's hand. Leaving the mark of the Flying Thunder God, Natsuki informed the two of them of the specific location of the perceived Uchiha Sasuke chakra. His figure flashed, and he left directly, and the two sides directly divided the army. This stronghold of the Great Snake Pill is very large. After dividing the troops, Natsuki took a little time to redetermine the location of the Big Snake Pill. Swish, next to a dead tree, the figure of Xiaomu appeared here. Opening Kagura's hard eye a little, a smile appeared on Natsuki's face. Boom. Clenching his fist, his knuckles made a clattering sound. Then continue with the third round. Airplanes. The chakra on his body burst out, and Natsuki glanced at the ground under his feet, raised his foot and smashed it down fiercely. Strange power, pain in the sky. Boom. Thundered. Far beyond Tsunade's terrifying power, it poured directly from his feet to the ground. In an instant, the ground under Xiaomu's feet shattered directly and collapsed instantly, and a hole appeared on the ground here. Swish. Natsuki's figure appeared at the edge of the cave and did not enter it. With one hand casually placed on the grass pheasant sword, Xiaomu's face looked at a large snake that appeared below with a meaningful smile. Hiss. The snake's mouth opened, and the figure of the Big Snake Pill appeared there. Raising his head, he saw Natsuki looking at him mockingly, and a gloomy cold light flashed in the eyes of the Big Snake Pill, and a trademark sneer appeared on his face. "Friend Kuan, meet again." Hearing the words of the Big Snake Pill, Natsuki smiled. "You seem to be underestimating me." Big Snake Pill, do you think if I don't let you go, can you really escape? With a cold smile, the big snake beside the big snake pill sent him to the ground. So, friend June deliberately let me go yesterday? Bang! At this moment, there was a loud noise in the distance, and just by looking at it, a satisfied smile appeared on Natsuki's face. Turning his head, Natsuki looked at the big snake pill and said, "Thanks to you leading the way, we found Sasuke." With a gloomy face, Orochimaru looked at Natsuki. "So that's the case, your goal from the beginning was Sasuke-kun? What a good calculation." Natsuki smiled and looked at the big snake pill. "It's over." The two fell silent directly, and Natsuki looked at the big snake pill like this, and the momentum between the two collided. At a certain moment, a light flashed in Xiaomu's eyes. So, a kunai flew directly towards the big snake pill, and Natsuki shot directly. Flying Thor? For Xiaomu's move of the Flying Thunder God yesterday, the big snake pill that almost had a psychological shadow also threw out a kunai. Bite. The two kunai collided in the air, bursting out a spark. Not Flying Thor. After seeing clearly the kuwu thrown by Xiaomu, the big snake pill's face changed. Oops. At this time, Natsuki finished the seal instantly. Water break. Chakra gathered in the air and directly spewed out a straight ultra-high pressure water column, like a terrifying laser, directly cutting towards the big snake pill. Poof. Between the electric flint, the water-breaking wave directly cut off the body of the big snake pill. Episode 117. Poof. Under the water break, the body of the big snake pill and the big snake under his feet were directly split in two. It's not over yet. Natsuki's hands were imprinted again, and the chakra on his body surged. Water Dragon Bomb. Crash. Thundered. A large amount of water suddenly appeared around Xiaomu's body, directly forming a huge water dragon, which directly knocked out the upper body of the big snake pill. Fire Dragon Flame Bomb. The technique changed instantly, and Xiaomu opened his mouth and spit out a fire dragon, directly burning the lower half of the body of the big snake pill into ashes. Sting. The thunder chakra condensed on his body, and Xiaomu's figure once again fell not far from the big snake pill. At this moment, the big snake pill, who only had half of his body left, suddenly opened his mouth, and then a hand crawled out directly from it, crawled out with a complete body, gasped, and looked at Natsuki. Water, fire, wind, thunder. The big snake pill gasped and spoke. "Friend Kun, on your body, I seem to see the appearance of the 3 generations of Hokage. The 5 elements of ninjutsu are hand in hand, powerful." Looking at the big snake pill casually, Natsuki picked up a purple card at his feet without a trace. The admiration of the big snake pill was no big deal for Natsuki. "Yes?" With a smile, Natsuki spoke. "In that case, do you think you can still escape?" After recovering a little, Orochimaru looked at Natsuki and spoke. "Why not?" "Natsuki-kun, if I want to go, it's still very simple." Swish. As soon as his words fell, Natsuki's figure appeared in front of the big snake pill. "Yes? Airplanes." As soon as the hand grabbed it, a big jade spiral pill appeared directly in Xiaomu's left hand, and directly pressed on the body of the big snake pill. Ninpo Daidama spiral pill. Boom. Thundered. The body of the big snake pill was once again blasted away. Sting. The thunder light flickered, and Xiaomu's thunder instantaneous technique burst out with terrifying speed, directly catching up with the body of the big snake pill flying upside down. Choke. The grass pheasant sword was unsheathed, and Xiaomu's right hand was slashed out. One knife flow. Thunder should be stabbed. Moisture poof. The grass pheasant sword with the scorching thunder chakra easily cut off the big snake pill again, and directly divided it into 2 sections. Ninja reverse psychic technique. Without caring about his injuries, the moment the big snake pill was knocked away by Xiaomu, his hands were already sealed. In the moment when the body was cut off, the reverse psychic technique was directly used, and the body was in a cloud of white smoke. Disappeared. Swish. The figure landed, and Natsuki looked at the big snake pill that had disappeared, and shrugged indifferently. Reverse psychic? Never mind. Glancing at everything here, Xiaomu's figure instantly disappeared and left directly. If you want to kill the big snake pill, it is indeed not difficult. However, Xiaomu's killing intent for the big snake pill is not so big. Killing the big snake pill is not important to him. The benefits are not much, but it increases the uncertainty of some subsequent plots, so it is more beneficial to keep this guy than to kill him. And the reason for this trip is more to let Naruto Uzumaki see Sasuke Uchiha, so the big snake pill, run away. Anyway, in this short period of time, he was cut off twice in succession, allowing him to frequently use the Great Snake Flow Avatar technique, which was definitely a considerable burden for the Great Snake Pill, and he definitely didn't feel good now. The task that Natsuki wanted to do has been completed. Swish. On the battlefield on the other side, Natsuki's figure silently appeared on a stone, quietly watching the situation in the field. 2 of Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno, plus an already injured Sajui, stood on the side, and the opposite side of the 3 of them was none other than Sasuke Uchiha, who had not seen each other for 3 years. The current Uchiha Sasuke is not much different from the appearance of Sasuke when Natsuki remembered the Shippuden. Looking at the potholes in the ground between the 2 sides, Natsuki knew. This time the meeting is not very friendly, but this was also expected by Natsuki. But because of Natsuki's size before, even without him, Haruno Sakura and Naruto Uzumaki were not injured. The only person who was injured was Sajui, who had left first. Glancing at the wound on his shoulder, Natsuki glanced at the weapon in Uchiha's assistant again. Another grass pheasant sword. There are some feelings in my heart. The grass pheasant sword is not more than one thing in the ninja world. One big snake pill, one Sasuke Uchiha, plus the Naoto knife in Natsuki's hand. This is already 3. For this, Natsuki is not surprised at all. There are so many powerful ninja tools in this world, not to mention the grass pheasant sword. This is nothing to be surprised about. Just to see it, there are some feelings. Call. A gust of wind blew through, and Natsuki's figure turned into a leaf and fell in front of Naruto Uzumaki to recondense, facing Sasuke Uchiha. Friend, Sasuke he. Naruto Uzumaki saw Natsuki appear, a hint of joy on his face, and spoke. Raising his hand, Natsuki directly interrupted Naruto Uzumaki. Looking at Uchiha Sasuke, Natsuki said with a calm face, "Long time no see, Sasuke." Natsuki's appearance made Uchiha Sasuke's face change suddenly. With a face sank, Sasuke Uchiha looked at Natsuki. "Natsuki friend. Did Orochimaru lose to you?" Nodding, Natsuki said of course. He wanted to retain his strength and do more important things, so he didn't fight with me with all his strength. So he directly used the reverse psychic technique and escaped, and now he should be channeling you soon. Speaking of this, Natsuki took a deep look at Sasuke Uchiha and faced his 3-hooked jade chakra eyes. Then again, Sasuke, you should know what he's going to do more important things. What's up, right? Looking at Natsuki with a slight doubt in his eyes, Sasuke Uchiha spoke. Why are you telling me about this? Shaking his head, Natsuki stood casually, holding his hands and saying, "No reason. Anyway, you know, I'm just informing you." Uchiha Sasuke's face sank slightly, and his eyes burned at Natsuki. "Natsuki friend, what exactly do you mean?" He felt a mortal threat on Natsuki's body. He was also on Natsuki's body, feeling Natsuki's treatment of him. Commiseration. Absolutely not wrong. The feeling that Natsuki gave him was as if he was pitying. This made Uchiha Sasuke's self-esteem a little unbearable. The target and opponent you have been chasing have pity for you. This feeling is unbearable for any man with self-esteem. I am afraid it is second only to being cuckolded. It's not interesting. Natsuki looked at Sasuke Uchiha, had no intention of making a move, and spoke. "Sasuke, you're actually quite pathetic." Sting. Uchiha Sasuke's face showed monstrous anger, and he directly killed Natsuki. "Who do you look down on? A character like you, now I just want to." Boom. Before he finished speaking, a cloud of white smoke exploded, and Uchiha Sasuke's figure had already disappeared. Looking at this dissipating white smoke, Natsuki spoke. "See you next time, Sasuke." Episode 118. Uchiha Sasuke left, and this time the mission was naturally over. Natsuki, who was like an arrow, took Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno directly, as well as the injured Sai, and embarked on the return journey. Regarding Sai's contact with the Great Snake Pill, Natsuki didn't care. Leave it all to Tsunade. Of course, what Saitozii provided by the Great Snake Pill naturally fell into Natsuki's hands, and after that, it would also be handed over to Tsunade. This way back, because of Uchiha Sasuke's affairs, both Sakura Haruno and Naruto Uzumaki looked very low. For this, Natsuki has no choice, can only see them adjust themselves. 2 days later, the Hokage building in Konoha. In Tsunade's office, Natsuki reported the details of this mission to Tsunade. Hard work. Taking the task report document handed over by Natsuki, Tsunade said with a smile on his face. "Although I was not able to bring back Uchiha Sasuke this time, judging by the situation, I am sure that Orochimaru's current body has not been able to support it for long, and after being hit hard by you one after another, his rebirth technique, 9 times out of 10, will fail." Nodding, Natsuki spoke. Indeed. Leaning back in his chair, Tsunade looked at Natsuki. "Uchiha Sasuke, did you fight him?" Hearing this, Natsuki shook his head. "Not really. However, now Uchiha Sasuke, who opened the 3-hooked jade chakra eye, plus the spell mark given to him by Orochimaru, his strength should be more powerful than Naruto's." Tsunade nodded and affirmed. "It will definitely be stronger than Naruto. Although it is said that he has also taken Naruto to practice for more than 2 years, the problem is that Naruto's original ninja foundation is slightly insufficient, and his cultivation trip is more about laying the foundation and trying to control the power of the 9 tails." Saying that, a smile appeared on Tsunade's face, and spoke. "But now that Naruto's foundation has been laid, as long as he gradually masters the power of the 9 tails, the speed of growth will be terrifying." Speaking of this, Tsunade looked up at Natsuki and spoke. "So be it. This time you work the task, and I will handle the rest of the next things. If there is no urgent task of 100,000, you can prepare for Hinata's engagement banquet with peace of mind, rest assured. Ordinary things will not let you solve it." Hearing Tsunade's words, Natsuki smiled with satisfaction. What Tsunade said, naturally it is Sai's business, and he will not intervene in this now. If you want to deal with this troublesome thing, wait until he ascends to the Hokage, let's talk about it. Natsuki, who was leaving, suddenly remembered Hinata and spoke. "Please be sure to give Hinata a holiday too." Wave your hand, Tsunade rushes to humanity. "I know. Fuck off." After nodding his head and saying goodbye, Natsuki's figure disappeared directly from the Hokage's office, used the Flying Thunder God technique, and returned to his home. "I'm back." Pushing open the door, Natsuki walked into the house and shouted. Click click. The sound of footsteps came, which made Natsuki stunned for a moment, because the sound was not right. Hinata's footsteps were familiar to Natsuki. This footstep is obviously faster-paced and lighter. Brother-in-law, welcome back. Just when Natsuki was puzzled, the fireworks appeared in Natsuki's eyes and cried out sweetly. Xiaomu was stunned for a moment, and then a gentle smile appeared on his face. What of fireworks? How did you come over? Without handing his equipment to Hanabi, Natsuki just casually asked. What about Hinata? Hearing Natsuki's question, Hanabi had a sweet smile on his face. My mother and I came to find my aunt. My sister's words, we are still on a mission, and we will come back tomorrow. Having changed his shoes, Natsuki spoke. Is that so? I know. Reaching out and rubbing Hanabi's little head, Natsuki walked directly into the house. After saying hello to his mother and Hinata's mother, Mio Hinata, he went upstairs to change his clothes. After arriving in the living room, he heard his mother and Mio Hinata discussing about the engagement, and Natsuki did not bother, but Hanabi kept asking him what it was like to perform the task. For the curiosity of the future sister-in-law, Natsuki was of course satisfied. To this big loli, tell some interesting stories about becoming a mission. After all, Hanabi is Hinata's sister, that is, his sister, and Natsuki is still very spoiled by Hanabi. Of course, this kind of pet, there are no other complicated feelings. That night, after Hanabi and her mother had dinner at Natsuki's house, Natsuki personally sent the mother and daughter back to the Hyuga clan. After returning home, Mimi took a bath and went straight to rest. The next morning, Natsuki's room. Natsuki, who was still sleeping, sounded a familiar, soft-voiced call in his ears. Xiaomu-kun, wake up quickly. Slowly opening his eyes, the drowsiness quickly receded, and Natsuki saw Hinata, who was dressed in a house clothes, standing by his bed, looking at himself with a gentle face. Hinata, Xiaomu smiled and called softly. In this sentence, the tenderness contained in this sentence can directly make others sweet to the toothache. Good morning. Looking at Natsuki, Hinata's eyes were full of longing. Good morning, Natsuki-kun. With just a slight glance at Hinata, Natsuki realized that she was wearing clothes that had been left at her home. It was easily judged that after Hinata finished his mission, he should have come directly to his house and had not returned to Hinata. Swish. With his hand raised, he directly carried Hinata's soft body onto the bed, and Natsuki said softly, I just came back from a mission, I should be very tired, right? As soon as the quilt was lifted, Hinata's body was covered, and Hinata was directly hugged into his arms. Rest first. Wake up, let's talk about other things, okay? Natsuki's sudden action made Hinata's face red, but he did not resist. Breathing to relax his body, the breath full of security, Hinata's already tired mind relaxed, and suddenly felt sleepy. Moving in Natsuki's arms and finding a comfortable position to lie down, Hinata said softly, sleep together, Natsuki-kun. Holding Hinata, Natsuki sniffed her hair, and Natsuki said softly, well, sleep together. Not long after, in Natsuki's arms, the sound of Hinata's steady breathing sounded. Natsuki looked at Hinata, who was shrunk in his arms like a little hamster, and a spoiled smile appeared on his face. What a cutie. Closing his eyes and hugging the beauty, Natsuki also slept back. It's until noon. When Natsuki and Hinata got up, there was no one at home. My mother left a note saying that I was going shopping with Hinata's mother, so I salted myself for lunch. Today we will cook and eat ourselves. Glancing at the note left by his mother, Natsuki looked at Hinata and said with a smile, is that okay? Hinata, who has never refused Natsuki's request, gently bowed his head. Good. Natsuki took Hinata's little hand, walked towards the kitchen, and spoke. I'll help. Today's lunch theme is called Fiancé Practice Lunch. Hearing Natsuki's words, Hinata first blushed a little, and then suddenly pulled Natsuki's hand with a serious face. Promise me, Natsuki-kun. You can help wash the dishes, the rest, please leave it to me. When Natsuki said he was helping, Hinata recalled, fear of being dominated by dark cuisine. Episode 119, Natsuki's house, in the kitchen. Xiaomu, who was washing and cutting vegetables, turned his head to look at Hinata, who was washing rice and cooking, and felt a burst of satisfaction in his heart. Although Hinata hated his cooking skills, Natsuki didn't care. What his cooking skills are like, he still has a pressure in his heart. It's not as completely unpalatable as it was many years ago, but it's definitely not delicious. Unfortunately, this card drops, not such as cooking, only things related to the ninja profession, otherwise, he will definitely build himself into a master chef. Occasionally, cooking a meal for your girlfriend is also a kind of romance. It's a pity that Xiaomu doesn't have this strength. Having said that, Natsuki's knife skills are still first class. After all, its own knife skill level is the existence of Konoha's #1. It's just a dish, it's trivial. Hinata, do you know what you don't have to do next? After cutting the dish, Natsuki turned to Hinata on the side. Did the teacher tell you? Hearing Natsuki's question, Hinata nodded and said, When I met Tsunade-sensei this morning, I already knew that I wouldn't do anything for the time being without important tasks, and Tsunade-sensei asked me to prepare well. Engagement with Natsuki. Looking at Hinata, who was a little coquettish, Natsuki couldn't help but smile. Although it is said that we should prepare well, in fact, what we have to prepare is to invite our friends and those familiar shinobi. This should be considered a holiday for the two of us by the teacher. Speaking of this, Natsuki turned his head to look at Hinata and spoke. Why don't we hang out? Go to the hot springs of Kuni, bring your uncles and aunts, and hang out with the two families? What do you think? Hearing this, Hinata's face showed an expectant smile, and then shook his head and said, nope. My mother has to prepare for the engagement banquet, and my mother is also going to do the same, so travel is not okay. Coming to Hinata's side, wrapping her slender and slightly weak shoulders from behind, Natsuki rested his chin on Hinata's little head. Then let's go for the two of us. I haven't taken Hinata out on a trip for so long. Natsuki's words made Hinata's face show a happy smile, and he leaned his head back and leaned on Natsuki's heart. Not either. When I was on a mission in the snow country before, wasn't that the trip that Natsuki took me to? Huh? Lowering his head and placing a kiss on Hinata's face, Natsuki spoke. Fool, that's a mission, it's not a real trip, and with Tooth and Shino two light bulbs there, how can it be considered a real trip? Letting go of Hinata, Natsuki clapped his hands directly and decided, I'll go talk to Tsunade-sensei in 2 days, and then we'll go out and have fun, soak in the hot springs, and go to some beautiful places. It's really exciting. Is this my pre-wedding trip with Hinata? Hinata nodded with a smile and spoke. Well, I listened to Natsuki-kun. It was this that made Natsuki especially pity Hinata. Her gentleness is already carved into the bones. After accompanying Hinata to make lunch, the two of them had a warm and loving, sweet and crooked lunch at home. After lunch, Natsuki and Hinata sat at home. Hinata is doing her favorite flower arrangement embossing, while Natsuki is holding a book and reading it again. Certainly not an unhealthy book. With Hinata, Natsuki doesn't need to rely on Kahoku to relieve loneliness like Kakashi. All he reads are serious books. I have to say that the books in this world are indeed quite single. The mainstream theme is ninjas, always like that. It is no wonder that a small emperor book can sell well. Although boring, it is still very good to pass this leisure time. In the future, he will not perform many tasks. He may as well write novels to earn money to support his family. Although many things in his past life have been forgotten, but his thinking is not fixed. What is written should also be able to catch fire. Just kidding. When he is not a ninja, he will definitely enjoy life, and it is estimated that he will not have time to write any novels. Isn't he fragrant to bask in the sun with Hinata every day and tease his own children? Clock in at work and live leisurely. Now the situation is because the 4th Ninja World War is about to come, so Natsuki can't relax. Natsuki-kun, when are we going to invite everyone? Hinata asked Natsuki while doing flower arrangement. Waving his hand, Natsuki lay on the clean floor and spoke. Don't worry, when we come back from travel, there is no hurry to write an invitation. After all, if the older generation is the same, it must be the uncle who invited it, and if my mother is here, it is only to invite her friends. We are just inviting Naruto and them. Nodding, Hinata nodded clearly. I see. Speaking of which, Natsuki's family. No relatives. Otherwise, my mother would not have worked so hard to raise Xiaomu. Looking at the quiet Hinata, Natsuki's figure moved, came directly to her side, and leaned on Hinata's body. Life now, it's so good. It would be even better if there weren't so many things. Hearing Natsuki's words, Hinata, who was very clear about her fiancé's personality, couldn't help but smile. Putting Natsuki's head on his legs and providing a knee pillow, Hinata spoke. Natsuki-kun really is. No wonder Tsunade-sensei says, you need to whip. Rubbing Hinata, Natsuki said with a bad smile. Actually, I also have a very energetic time. Fire. Hot's gaze fell on Hinata's red lips, and Natsuki spoke. As long as Hinata you kiss me. Huh. Before Natsuki's words were finished, Hinata directly lowered his head and kissed Natsuki directly. Phew. A breeze blows, and the picture almost freezes. This moment is beautiful and memorable. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. In the past 3 days, Natsuki and Hinata have been dating and shopping every day, and their lives are very comfortable. Nothing major happened, and no task fell on the two. Hokage building, in front of Tsunade's office. Natsuki raised his hand, just about to knock on the door. Bang! A shock made Natsuki's face change, his figure flashed, and he directly flashed away from the door of Tsunade's office. Boom! As soon as Natsuki dodged, the door of Tsunade's office was directly smashed by a figure, and then this figure smashed directly on the wall of the aisle, almost smashing a hole in the wall of the Hokage building. Click click. Immediately afterwards, Tsunade's body exuded a breathtaking momentum and walked out of the office. Who do you call old woman? Clenching his fist, Tsunade burst out with a look of anger, and his fist hammered directly towards the man. Seeing this scene, Natsuki's face showed a speechless expression. For more than 3 years, he had seen this scene countless times. Episode 120. 10 minutes later, the whole farce was over. Naruto Uzumaki, and they, with the boy named Sora and Natsuki, had a few words before leaving the Hokage building. Friend, why are you here? Tsunade looked at Natsuki standing in front of his desk, with doubts on his face. It's rare to come on a date with Hinata at this time, and to come here to find me. Hearing this, Natsuki shrugged and looked at Tsunade. I'm here to take a leave of absence to travel, and I'm going to take Hinata out for a few days, go to Yunakoku to soak in the hot springs, go for a walk, and in a week at most, I'll be back. Tsunade's eyes shone brightly, and he spoke. It's good, if you soak in the hot spring. I haven't been to it for a long time. I really want to give you the seat of Hokage quickly, then I will be free. As he spoke, Tsunade had already written a certificate on a scroll. For example, if a ninja leaves the village for a long time, he needs to register and Naruto's permission. After all, this world, the power of ninjas, is indeed terrifying. Hearing that Natsuki wanted him to succeed Hokage now, he shook his head directly. I'm still too young. If I succeed Hokage, in a few more years, it's better for the teacher to continue to be Hokage now. In this regard, Tsunade nodded, and she also complained. After getting the scroll, Natsuki left the Hokage office directly. Walking on the way home, thinking back to the simple boy who was in Hokage's office before, Natsuki's eyes had a trace of thought. His name is Sora, Natsuki secretly said in his heart. Chakra with 9 tails in his body, is it a pseudo-human pillar force? This plot, I seem to remember, seems to be a plot that wants to destroy Konoha, but in the end it fails. What happened here? Nothing important. It is about the guardian of the 12 shinobi, that is, some small things about the ape flying asthma. Konoha will not be in danger, and it can even be said that this time, even the slightest wave has not been able to turn up, mainly a small confrontation between Tsunade and Danzo. Even Shangnan just played an ape flying asthma, and it was perfectly solved. The next day, noon, Natsuki and Hinata. After lunch, Natsuki left Konoha with a small travel backpack. For the two of them to go out to travel, my mother did not stop it, and even approved very much. Young man, you still need to go out and look for some excitement. Our first stop, first of all, is Kuni, and I heard that the hot springs there are very good. Walking on the road, Natsuki held a travel guide map in his hand, looked at Hinata, who was in a happy mood next to him, and said, and most importantly, the hot springs there. There is a hot spring for couples, and you can bathe together. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. When Hinata heard this, he looked shy, and said beautifully, Natsuki-kun. Putting away the map in his hand, Natsuki took Hinata's little hand. Ha ha ha, let's go. Target Kuni. Full of happiness to keep up with Natsuki's steps, Hinata's happiness, anyone can see it. The two of them are not doing tasks this time. Naturally there is no need to hurry, so this road is slowly walking, looking at a lot of scenery along the way. Basically, no one bothered. Until the evening, Natsuki and Hinata, who were about to speed up some steps and head to the next town, stopped at the same time. Hinata's wide eyes opened and he spoke. Xiaomu-kun, there are 4 chakras in total, not very strong. Hearing Hinata's words, Natsuki nodded and rubbed his eyebrows with a little headache. Rare trip. Just after leaving the village, someone came to me. It really affected the mood. A killing intent flashed in Natsuki's eyes, and even Hinata's face became very unfriendly. The rare pleasant trip with Natsuki-kun, just left the village for half a day, was found. Rao is Hinata's gentle and kind nature, cannot help but burst into murderous intentions. Just when Natsuki and Hinata stopped, yikes! Natsuki's voice fell, and 4 figures appeared in front of Natsuki and Hinata. Konoha's Thunder Light. The man who had just appeared, wearing a cloak at the head, said in a low tone. I didn't expect that you would leave Konoha by yourself. What a good opportunity. The expression calmed down, and Natsuki looked at the 4 ninjas in front of him like this. You are? Taking off the cloak, the ninja at the head spoke. Introduce yourself, in Shimawama, one of the original Daimyo Guardian 12 ninja. The 3 of them are my subordinates who do not wind, do not move, and do not move. His eyes narrowed slowly, and Natsuki looked at Kazuma. So it is. You guys want to solve Konoha, but you are too in awe of my power, so you give preference to me and Hinata who left the village. What a nice plan and judgment. The murderous intention flashed in his eyes. In Xiaomu's heart, these 4 people are already a death sentence. That's right. That's exactly what we intended. Looking at Natsuki, Kazuma directly admitted. But how did you know about our plans? Sting. A flash of thunder flashed, and Natsuki's figure appeared directly in front of Kazuma, as if teleporting. This question, you go and ask Yan Wanyi. Moisture. The thunder chakra condensed on his hand, and Natsuki's hand went directly towards Kazuma's heart. Raish. Sting. Poof. The moment the thunder light lit up, in less than a breath, there was a sound of flesh being torn apart. Natsuki's hand directly pierced Kazuma's heart. Cell phone. The moment Natsuki made a move, Hinata next to him also made a move. The figure flashed, Hinata's directly killed in front of the 3 people behind Kazuma, and the jade hand clenched into a fist. Weili Jiobu double lion fist. Boom. This punch directly smashed on the immobile body of the 3 people. Bang. The huge power of the monster fist directly poured out on the immobile body, and at the same time, the terrifying chakra destructive power of the soft fist directly exposed the immobile chakra meridian. So, thundered. The immobile body was directly sent flying, and the person was in the air, and suddenly he was bleeding, and he was already dying of anger. This sudden change made the remaining 2 people, Buffing and Bu Yuan, stand on the spot. How is it possible? Ugh. Natsuki's figure crossed the 2, and his palm made a knife, gently slashing across his unwindy hair and unruly neck. Snap. At this time, Kazuma's body fell to the ground and made a sound. From the start to the end of the battle, the time of 1,000 hands is not even 10 seconds. Confident that Kazuma and his 3 subordinates were already angry and dead. Kazuma's plan is not wrong, but it is a pity that he overestimated himself and underestimated Natsuki and Hinata. Otherwise, he would still be able to do something. Right now, it's over. Coming to Hinata's side and glancing at these 4 rebels who came to kill him, Natsuki shook his head and said, "If you want to attack and kill me, you must at least find 4 shadow-level powerhouses, so that you have this possibility, 1 upper forbearance, 1 special upper patience, 2 middle patience, such a lineup, dare to kill me." Between words, Natsuki took Hinata's small hand and left here directly with her. "Didn't put me in your eyes at all." As for the corpses of the 4 people with horses, this Natsuki doesn't care. Now the most important thing for him is a date with Hinata. Of course, after solving these 4 people here, there are a lot less things on Konoha's side.